Welcome to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart. With me now, I've head Acrobatics and Tumbling coach Taylor Broadwater. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, this past week it was another win for you guys. You went to West Virginia State, won pretty handily. Just your thoughts on the meet there.
I felt like the girls' execution was pretty good. We had a couple events that maybe weren't our best, but overall I felt like the girls were extremely relaxed and able to execute what we've been working so hard to do all season, just fine-tuning some events and just focusing on competing how we practice, because we have some really good practices, but then on meet day it's like we still have jitters and we're halfway through season. And I feel like the other day they finally showed that like those meet day jitters are gone and we're really focused on cleaning up the things that need fixed.
And you mentioned those jitters, too. Somebody that really doesn't show that very much. Peyton Saminsky, she's now a 3-time MEC Specialist of the Week. How important has that been to have a veteran there at the base spot for you guys this year?
That's been huge. Obviously, she is a very relaxed athlete and can go out and execute regardless if it's an event that she's extremely confident in or not. It does not show because she's just that confident in every event that she's putting on the floor, which is what I'm trying to get through to every athlete. And she's kind of leading by example, and that's really helped my underclassmen. And I think that's why now a lot of them are starting to relax more. They see it on Peyton's face, and they're confident in what they're doing, and Peyton's very confident in those events that she's in as well.
And now moving to this week, you got Kutztown on the road. They're very good this year, 6-1, 3-1 in the MEC. Their high score was just over 248 this past meet, so it's going to be close. Your guys' high score was 253. So just your thoughts on that meet coming up?
I think if we can just execute and continue to do what the girls know how to do, it's going to be a very good meet for us. They are a very clean team. That's something that I've stressed with my girls, but I do feel like if we can execute, relax, and have the meet that we're capable of, it will turn out well for us. But again, anything can happen, and you never know with the judges that you get. So I just hope that it really shows how hard that they have worked since we've been back from our Hawaii trip, because each week we have cleaned up some stuff.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on, and good luck this week.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've head baseball coach Jimmy Mullins. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, this past week you were at Salem. Well, we didn't get to talk to you a few weeks ago after that Frostburg and Fairmont series, but this past week you were at Salem and Point Park. First, looking at Salem, you split with them, lost the first game 8-0, bounced back in game 2, won 5-3. Just give me your thoughts on that opening Friday series with Salem.
Yeah, those were good ball games coming off Frostburg and Fairmont, where we didn't play well at all. Yeah, it was really disappointing. 40-something free passes from our pitching staff in 4 games, which is unheard of, and just really, really disappointing. But it allowed us an opportunity to just take a look at some things that we need to do better, reevaluate how we're doing things. And I had gotten away from spending time with the pitching staff and was trying to spend time with the hitters. And sometimes, I just got to look at stuff that I'm doing too and meet them halfway. But we had a really good week after that in practice. We talked a lot about sequencing hitters. We talked a lot about where in the strike zone that we can get outs, how we can play off our misses. We really just went back to a baseball 101 type thing. And I have to remember that I assume that they know things sometimes and they don't know it. And, it's not their fault. That's why we're here. That's why we're coaches. So it was a really productive week. We got back on the mound and did some inline work, some aqua bag work. We did little things, in a little pitcher's lab we're trying to build. And it was a good week. And coming into this past weekend, it really showed up, and it showed up against Salem there. So Salem's a good ball club. They're tough to get out. They go on good offensive spurts. Their pitchers throw to targets. They always play with intensity. And, they're always tough on us. And we lost that first ball game, able to come back in game 2 and respond and get a win there. And then had a good day of practice the day after in between going up to Point Park, and was able to go up there. And Point Park is legit. They have good players. And they're, top record in the league right now in the North or the South. And, it's really good for our league. Stepping back from the coaching for a second, it's really good for our league because, it helps our teams be able to get regional points. So just being able to serve on the regional committee for the Mountain East, it really has showed me that how valuable it is for all of our Mountain East teams to keep getting better. So if we want to, play at the regional level, we have to have all our teams get better and our league get better and our wins to mean more. So it's really good having Point Park in our league so far, and really good program. Their head coach does a good job. He's a great guy. Enjoyed talking baseball with him. I didn't realize I actually had coached against him when I was at West Virginia State, so it was cool to talk some stories about that. But we played 2 good ball games there. I was really pleased to see that some of the improvements during practice were showing up in the games. We had some dirt ball reads. We had some situational hitting. Our sequences to the hitters were really good from our pitching staff. They took advantage of some balls that were up in the zone, and that game 2, they scored their runs on some throwing errors, which is frustrating because we do a lot of time on quality catch and focused catch. But I was happy that we were able to come in and compete with right now the best team in the league, and it just shows that we're on the right track. And we get Minson back; he's been injured. We're out our catcher who broke his hand. Carlos has done a really good job for us behind the plate. He's really, really smart, but playing 4 games in a weekend, that's tough on anybody to be a catcher. And but our guys are tough, and we're continuing to get better. And I'm just excited for what we have here. We got a lot of new guys in the lineup, a lot of guys with not a lot of Division II experience, and it's a learning curve. And I like where we're at. We're gonna get a run here going.
And you mentioned that trying to get a run going. You'll have a chance this coming weekend with West Liberty and Wheeling at home. It's the last games of the MEC North part of your portion of the schedule. After that, you'll now start MEC South play. What do you want to see this weekend with West Liberty and Wheeling?
Yeah, just want to have a good day of practice today and a good week of practice. And I really want to see our pitching staff continue to be able to mix balls up in the plate, in the strike zone, in and out, up and down, mix speeds. And then I want to see our offense situationally be a little bit better. We had a good first inning there at Point Park where base hit bunt from a freshman, Meadows. He's been really good for us. He's been out for a few weeks too with a play at the plate. He hurt his back. And so base hit bunt, then he got a dirt ball read. He went to second. He took off before the ball hit the dirt and got to second base. And then Adam Bright with a 2-strike swing hit it the other way to right field, and we were able to tag him to third. And then Laurie was able to hit a ground ball and score him. So that was a great first inning. I'd like to see us simplify our approach offensively. We're going to have to be on time for fastballs. West Lib has a couple guys that run it up in the 90s. So that's going to be our focus this week. And, we can just focus on ourselves and continue to get better on little things. Then we're going to be all right.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on in. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Get ready to hit the road with GoMart. Each month, we're featuring a special item to fuel your journey and score you bonus reward points in our Road to Rewards promotion. Each purchase earns you a token, so load up and keep cruising toward big rewards. Plus, the top 25 token earners each month will receive 5,000 additional bonus reward points. Check the GoMart app to see this month's featured item. And as always, earn additional savings on products store-wide with reward member exclusives. Go to GoMart.com for more details.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've had softball coach Sara Scoone. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, this past week you went 2-2. You started out the weekend at West Union Wesleyan on Friday, picked up 2 wins there in a doubleheader sweep. Just give me your thoughts on those 2 wins there.
That was a great team win on both those games. We rallied back in the first game, so that was really good, nice to see. Second game, we came out hot. We stayed hot. The bats got hot at the right time. We were hitting the ball pretty well, too, in the first game, but they just positioned so well against us. I was, nothing you could do sometimes about that. You're hitting balls off the pitcher and stuff's getting caught by the middles. So that was good to see. But yeah, it was nice to see us rally back. It was nice to see us stay consistent that day. Pitching looked good that day. So yeah, those are good 2 team wins.
And you moved on to Sunday. You guys couldn't really find your footing there at D&E. How do you now take those losses as you move on to the new week? Because it's a quick turnaround. It's about a 3-day turnaround. So how do you take that now and just get onto your girls that we got a new week coming to you?
We discussed what happened at the D&E games. We just got to work through it, got to work by it. Going into Concord, I expect a little bit better plate appearances. Pitching will be better, for the rest of conference. It's just hard. I hate losing. And people who know me, they know that. And, my team hates losing, but you just got to move forward. Everyone now and then has a bad loss. Everyone now and then has a great win. And you just got to move forward. It's part of our game. So easier said than done. But when we face Concord this weekend, we're going in. We're seeing a good team. We're seeing a team that's hot right now. And we just got to match runs with runs. We are playing at home again finally, so that's exciting. I'm excited to see everyone in the blue out there. But yeah, we're looking forward to move forward, and that's it.
And you mentioned Concord. It's a 6-game week because you also have UC and West Virginia State this weekend. Teams that you've already played. When you play them again, it'll be a 2-week span that you've played them. You swept State earlier in the year, about a week and a half ago, and you split with UC. Just your thoughts on that upcoming weekend series with those teams.
You know, it is kind of crazy. We play everyone in the South opening up in our division. You know, we played Charleston, State, Wesleyan, D&E, Concord, Charleston, State. It's like that every single year. I'm not really sure why it is that way, but we do play everyone in our division first, and then we play Charleston and State again. So it is kind of nuts, but it is what it is. But yeah, going into Charleston and State then coming up this weekend, I don't want to look too far ahead because Concord right now is is our priority. But going into Charleston, going into State, you know, I expect good games. I expect a lot of athleticism in those two games now that we've seen each other. Not much turnaround to look at like a team when you go a week and a half from playing them. I don't expect much different out of either team, but I do expect good games. You know, Charleston and State are great programs, and Glenville's a great program. So I expect us going in there and having 4 good games.
All right, Coach. We appreciate you, and good luck this week.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've had track and field coach Dan Meyers. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, this past week, you mentioned last week in the show that you wanted to see some records get broken, some all-time lists get shaken up, and you had a record get broke by Natalie Barr. Some all-time lists were also shaken up, got some PRs at the 49er Classic in Charlotte. Just your overall thoughts on how the weekend went.
Yeah, you know, Charlotte's, you know, it's always my favorite, probably my favorite meet to go to of the year, you know, just because the weather's so hit and miss here in March, and honestly throughout our outdoor season. So it's awesome to get some great weather. A little chilly on Friday to start out, but got to mid 60s. And then, you know, Saturday was mid 70s and just phenomenal weather. And these type of meets in this environment, I just feel very lucky and grateful to have the athletes that I do that, you know, kind of got into the top 10 mix down there in a loaded meet. And I think it built a lot of experience, and especially for the freshmen, got some nerves off the board. And now we're kind of off and running for the outdoor season.
And this past week, too, when you're at Charlotte, it's a lot of Division I teams, probably 10, 15, 20 teams. Did you do that kind of on purpose going to this kind of meet where you see that type of competition? Was that on purpose, or that just kind of how the cards fell?
Yeah, you know, that's the nice thing, too. And specifically for the distance races, when you get into a meet like that, like if you're getting put in at your PR, you're getting put into a heat or a flight that's going to allow you to be pushed to your best. And I think that's really what I've always wanted Charlotte to be. And, you know, some of those performances across the board that you talked about, you know, Natalie Barr, you know, was kind of stuck around that 449 barrier in the 1500 last year, and to open up at 444 was huge. And you know, Nick was in a big dog heat. You know, the 1500 heat that he was in the top flight. And, you know, the winner of that heat ran the equivalent of probably like a 404, 405 mile, you know, and he really battled the entire way. And with that 356, the fastest time for our program since 1988. And he's now second all time in that event. And just as a freshman, just has a huge upside, you know, ahead of him. And, you know, just moving through some of the other events, you know, Janae was top 7 in the disc, and Aaron Kuffner, a massive day, just off his personal best from, you know, before he transferred here. But his best time as a Pioneer, and to open up at 53.86 was something that we did not expect. And that was huge, you know, 4th all time in the program. So just overall, some really, really good things from the weekend.
And you mentioned that, some really good things. Trying to roll that over into this coming weekend at West Liberty for the Tim Weaver invite. What would you like to see out of your team there?
Yeah, so another great weekend of weather, it looks like. Maybe some rain on Friday for some of the field events and some of the evening distance events. So looks like Natalie will run into a fast flight at 1500 that night. They're going to do some hot heats of the 1500. Pat Riley's going to try to go get us a good mark in the 10K, and that's something that he's been really wanting to do. And then Hammer and Jav, which we had some decent performances down in Charlotte, but would really like to start off Friday hot with some good Jav and Hammer performances. And then moving into Saturday with the majority of the meet, we're going to be opening up a lot of people in the steeplechase. So we're just trying to find some spots in the conference, specifically in some of those distance events and some events that, you know, we weren't as privy to indoors, that, you know, we can get some people qualified for conference and try to shake some things up. So honestly, I just want us to go out there and compete hard. Since I've been here, This Friday, Saturday will be the most competitors that we'll have had at a track meet in 4 or 5 years now. So that's huge too. And across the board, I think the team's excited now that we're starting to get at least a little bit better weather. We're training harder. We're healthy for the most part. So overall, just like I said, I'm just lucky and grateful to have some of the top performers on this team that we have. And I think it's motivating everybody else to bring their best. And, this weekend, hopefully to get some more all-time lists, some more school records, and hopefully, kind of propel us into into April with a good shot at getting some more people qualified into the conference meet. So exciting next month ahead, but it's going to fly by, that's for sure.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
Yep, thanks for having me.